This video is sponsored by InVideo AI. September 1st, 1939. As Nazi Germany invaded Poland, the PZL-37 Łoś found itself thrust into combat before it was fully prepared. Of the 86 bombers in the Polish arsenal, only 36 were combat-ready on that fateful day. The Łoś, or Moose, was an unexpected contender. At just 42 feet 5 inches long, with a wingspan of 58 feet 10 inches, this compact bomber could haul an impressive 5,688-pound bomb load. Its innovative airfoil-shaped fuselage and advanced wing design allowed it to reach speeds up to 249 miles per hour, outpacing many fighters of its day. As the Łoś took to the skies, its twin Bristol Pegasus engines roaring, it quickly proved its worth. Its speed and maneuverability surprised German fighters, while its double-wheeled, independently suspended undercarriage allowed it to operate from rough airfields, a crucial advantage as Polish forces retreated. However, faced with the overwhelming numerical superiority of the Luftwaffe, the Łoś suffered heavy losses. Its light defensive armament of two 77mm machine guns proved insufficient against determined German attacks. As Poland's defenses weakened, the remaining Łoś bombers continued to strike at advancing German columns. On September 17, 1939, with Soviet forces now pouring in from the east, Polish crews made a fateful decision. They pointed their aircraft south toward the Romanian border. The Łoś's journey was far from over. In the world of aviation, innovation has always been the key to reaching new heights. From the Wright brothers' first flight to the SR-71 Blackbird breaking speed records, progress in aerospace has been driven by visionaries pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Today, we're witnessing a similar revolution in video creation with InVideo AI V3. This new update is set to be a game changer, soaring high above other AI video products. Imagine having a co-pilot that not only assists you, but can also fly the entire mission completely based on your commands. That's InVideo AI V3. It's not just an editor, it's a complete video creation system that can generate entire full-length videos from scratch using simple text prompts, bringing your ideas to life. Let's take it for a test flight. We asked InVideo AI V3 to create a 1-minute fiction-to-reality video of a diver exploring the trenches of Mariana and encountering all kinds of unexpected things in the deep. Watch what it produced in just a few minutes. How cool is that? And that's just the first sortie. From here, you can edit anything you like, and even add your own voice. The possibilities are endless, and the sky is the limit. If you haven't checked out InVideo AI's current version already, go and explore it right now for free using the link in the description. Paid plans start at just $20 per month. What's more, if you use our code DARKSKIES50, you'll get 2 times the number of video creation minutes in the first month. Don't hesitate. Let your video ideas fly to new heights today. The PZL-37 Łoś emerged in the mid-1930s as Poland's answer to a complex set of military and political challenges. With potential threats looming from both Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, Poland needed a versatile aircraft that could bolster its defensive capabilities. However, the path to the Łoś's development was far from straightforward. Since its establishment in 1918, the Wojska Lotnicze, or Polish Air Force, had been viewed conservatively by military leadership, receiving limited funding and serving primarily as a support arm for ground forces. This perspective had led to a focus on fighters and ground attack aircraft, with bombers generally seen as expensive and unnecessary. Poland's earlier attempts at developing bomber capabilities in the 1920s had been sporadic and limited. The acquisition of a few French-built Farman F-68 BN-4 Goliaths and Dutch-built Fokker F-7s had done little to change the prevailing attitude towards bombers. It was against this backdrop that the concept of the Łoś took shape. As other European nations modernized their air forces, forward-thinking Polish officers began to envision a homegrown aircraft that could fulfill multiple roles, striking deep into enemy territory, conducting reconnaissance, and escorting other bombers. The Łoś was to be this aircraft, designed to replace Poland's aging fleet of reconnaissance and light bombing planes. The requirements for the Łoś were ambitious, reflecting the complex needs of Poland's defense strategy. It would need to be fast enough to evade enemy fighters, carry a substantial bomb load to pose a credible threat, and operate from austere airfields to maintain flexibility in deployment. These challenging specifications would push the boundaries of aircraft design and set the stage for one of Poland's most innovative military projects. The PZL-37 Łoś project began in the spring of 1934 under the leadership of Jerzy Dąbrowski at Państwowe Zakłady Lotnicze, or PZL. Dąbrowski's team aimed to create a bomber that could meet the Polish Air Force's requirements despite Poland's limited industrial capacity. In July 1934, Dąbrowski submitted his initial proposal to the Department of Aeronautics. The concept, initially designated P-37, impressed officials and received approval to proceed in October. The following April, the Department of Aeronautics approved a full-scale wooden mock-up, authorizing the construction of 2 prototypes and a structural test frame. By mid-1936, the first prototype, designated PZL-37-1, was complete. At just 42 feet 5 inches long, and with a wingspan of 50 feet 10 inches, the aircraft was much smaller than most contemporary bombers, and only slightly larger than the Lockheed Martin 10 Electra used by Amelia Earhart. This compact design would not only make the PZL-37 a smaller target, but also improve its maneuverability and speed. However, despite its modest dimensions, the Łoś boasted an impressive bomb-carrying capacity of 5,688 pounds, exceeding the payload of larger aircraft, such as the considerably bigger British-built Vickers Wellington. With a 2-section bomb bay in the fuselage and 8 compact bays in the wings, the aircraft could carry a combination of 2 661-pound and 18 243-pound bombs. While this arrangement imposed some limitations on the individual bomb sizes and prohibited external mounting, it allowed the Łoś to punch far above its weight in terms of overall bomb load. What made this feat of engineering possible was a series of innovative design choices. The key to the PZL-37's impressive capacity lay in its unconventional airfoil-shaped fuselage. This unusual feature, previously seen only in smaller aircraft like the PZL-26 sports plane, allowed the bomber to compensate for its diminutive size by generating additional lift. The aircraft's capabilities were further enhanced by its wing design. Originally intended to use a popular wing profile designed by Ryszard Bartel, the need to accommodate internal bomb bays necessitated modifications. The resulting profile, while not truly laminar flow as some have claimed, would allow for a significant reduction in drag. This would allow the P-37's twin Bristol Pegasus radial engines to push the aircraft to speeds of up to 10% higher than the originally planned 227 miles per hour, a major improvement that would prove extremely useful in combat situations. The PZL-37 also featured an advanced undercarriage design that significantly enhanced its operational flexibility. The retractable main undercarriage, which retracted into purpose-built alcoves within the engine nacelles, was double-wheeled with independent suspension for each wheel. This configuration allowed the aircraft to operate from rough, unprepared airfields, a crucial capability given Poland's limited infrastructure. Initially, the intention had been to equip the aircraft with twin guns and a 20mm dorsal cannon. Yet, as the design team prioritized performance over armament, it was concluded that the bomber's velocity would minimize the need for such weapons. Instead, a single 7.7mm machine gun was set on each turret position. On June 30th, 1936, the PZL-37-1 took to the skies for its maiden flight at Okęcie Airfield near Warsaw. Test pilots were impressed with its handling and performance, particularly its speed and bomb-carrying capacity. However, as with any new design, there were issues to address, primarily concerning stability and control at certain flight regimes. A second prototype, the PZL-37-2, was quickly developed to deal with these shortcomings and further improve the design. This version featured several significant changes, most notably a switch from a single vertical stabilizer to a twin-tail configuration. This modification improved stability and provided a better field of fire for the rear gunner. The cockpit was also redesigned to improve crew visibility and ergonomics. The PZL-37-2 performed its first flight in fall 1936. The improvements were evident, and the aircraft's performance impressed engineers and Air Force officials. By the summer of 1937, the refined design was ready for production. Christening the bomber the Łoś, the Polish Air Force placed an order for 10 pre-production aircraft, with plans for a total of 150 units. Production began in earnest in 1938, with the initial version designated as PZL-37A. While this model featured the single vertical stabilizer used on the first prototype, it was quickly superseded by the PZL-37A Biz, which had the twin-tail configuration. The main production model, the PZL-37B, began rolling off the assembly lines in the fall of 1938. This version also featured the twin-tail design and was powered by Polish-built PZL Pegasus 20 engines, which were licensed versions of the Bristol Pegasus. By the end of summer 1939, the Polish Air Force had approximately 86 Łoś bombers in its arsenal. What's more, the new aircraft also attracted international attention. Having debuted on the world stage at aviation salons in Belgrade and Paris in 1938, the Łoś had been garnering significant interest. In response to this enthusiasm, PZL developed 2 export variants, the PZL-37C and PZL-37D, both featuring more powerful gnome-Rhone engines and higher top speeds than the original model. Several countries, including Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Romania, Turkey, and Greece, placed orders for these export variants. There was even interest from Belgium in producing the aircraft under license for the Spanish Republic, while nations such as Denmark, Estonia, Finland, and Iran were in various stages of negotiations for their own acquisitions. It seemed the Łoś was poised to play a starring role in air forces all over Europe and beyond. However, the events of September 1, 1939 would scupper any possibility of exportation. As Nazi Germany invaded Poland, the PZL-37 Łoś found itself thrust into combat before it was fully prepared. Due to various factors, including maintenance and training requirements, only 36 of the 86 bombers were fully combat-ready on the first day of the war. As the invasion began, many Łoś units were caught on the ground, with several aircraft destroyed before they could take off. Nevertheless, those that did get airborne quickly proved their worth. The bombers' speed and maneuverability surprised German fighters, and their ability to operate from rough airfields proved invaluable as Polish forces were pushed back. One of the most notable actions came on September 2nd, when a group of Łoś bombers successfully attacked German armored columns near Częstochowa. The precision of the attack and the bombers' ability to evade interceptors impressed even the enemy. However, the overwhelming numerical superiority of the Luftwaffe soon began to tell. Without adequate fighter protection, the PZL-37 suffered heavy losses. Their light defensive armament proved insufficient against determined German attacks. By mid-September, only a handful of operational Łoś bombers remained. Despite the odds, Polish air crews continued to fly missions until the last days of the campaign. Their bravery was exemplified by actions such as the attack on September 16th, when the remaining PZL-37s struck at German forces crossing the Bzura River, buying precious time for retreating Polish units. However, when the Soviet Union launched its own invasion of Poland the following day, it was the first nail in the coffin. By October 6th, the country was entirely under foreign control. As the campaign came to its tragic end, in one last act of defiance, Polish factory workers managed to scrap about 30 unfinished Łoś airframes, denying them to the invading German forces. Yet the story of the Łoś was far from over. In a desperate bid to preserve the aircraft, Polish crews flew 26 Łoś bombers, including 17 from the Bomber Brigade and 10 training aircraft to Romania, a neutral country at the time. However, in September 1940, a military-led coup in Romania would see the abdication of King Carol II and the installation of a fascist dictatorship under Ion Antonescu. Officially joining the Axis powers in November, Antonescu's regime seized the PZL-37s, incorporating 23 of them into the Romanian Air Force. The Romanians, recognizing the Łoś's potential, even upgraded some with additional armament. However, the transition was far from smooth. Romanian pilots, unfamiliar with the Łosz's handling characteristics and high wing loading, lost about a third of the aircraft to accidents. Despite these setbacks, the Łosz would see combat once again. When Romania joined Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941, about 15 Łosz bombers participated in operations. These Polish-designed aircraft, now under Romanian colors, conducted bombing missions against Soviet targets in Bessarabia, Kyiv, and Odessa. The Łosz's second life in Romanian service was challenging. Losses mounted, primarily due to anti-aircraft fire, and a lack of spare parts forced their withdrawal from frontline service in October 1941. However, the aircraft story wasn't quite finished. In a final twist, 9 Łosz bombers briefly returned to combat in April 1944, only to be withdrawn a month later. The Łosz's wartime career would finally come to a definitive end in September of that year. As Romania ousted Antonescu and joined the Allies, German aircraft carried out retaliatory raids that led to the destruction of several PZL-37s on the ground. The story of the PZL-37 Łoś is one of unfulfilled potential. It was an aircraft that promised much, but was never given the chance to truly prove itself. In many ways, the Łoś was a victim of circumstance, a capable bomber that found itself in the wrong place at the wrong time. Had history taken a different course, the Łoś might have become a mainstay of air forces across Europe. Its advanced design and impressive performance could have influenced bomber development for years to come. Instead, it became a footnote in aviation history, remembered mainly by enthusiasts and historians. While no complete PZL-37 Łoś survives today, in 2012, a full-scale replica of the Łoś was constructed at the PZL Mielec factory, where the original bombers were built. This non-flying model, painstakingly crafted from photographs and surviving documentation, stands as a testament to the aircraft's elegant design and the skill of its creators. Dark Skies would like to thank InVideo AI for its sponsorship. Remember, InVideo AI V3 is launching soon to take your video creation to supersonic speeds. Click on the link in the description now to experience their current version for free. And don't forget, paid plans start at just $20 a month, and you can use our code DARKSKIES50 to double the video creation minutes in your first month. Let your creativity reach the stratosphere with InVideo AI.